So it's that time of the year again where the government pretends to care about people, but in reality it's all just waffle and bullshit. Excuse my language. But that's what it is. Unless you're a future fund, a banker, or a big developer, or a politician, you're the other people that's going to benefit from this budget. But if you're an only Irish citizen that has to go out and do a bit of work and stuff and have to get up early in the morning, not going to give you a hit. And same with homeless people, same with people waiting for houses. It's just all waffle and talk and bullshit. But there's a few things I suppose we have to talk about, because they talk about doing this and putting this money. It's all what they're going to do and what they can do and what they should do. But they're not saying about when they're going to do it, you know. They're saying about all this money, like there's money being everywhere. Apparently there's so much money they don't know what to do with it. But yeah, there's no money for the ordinary Joe. It's just all make-believe money, it seems to be. Because there's no money going towards people who need it. But I suppose the main thing about it is, there's a good few main things actually. Like 60 cents extra in the minimum wage for people on the minimum wage, which is a lot of people. I think it's 700,000, something like that, people on the minimum wage. So it's a 60 cent increase, which is pretty much €1, give or take. But yeah, it's quite insane. Only here you go, €1 for your hour, which probably end up not probably much at the end of the week if you work the 40-hour week. It might give you a few bob extra, but yeah, the government TDs are going to get €1,000 extra, just to say, and that'll be every week, just to say €1,000 every week, probably extra on the pay rise. Good, that's probably what they're giving themselves, because obviously they're going to give themselves up, but they're not going to give away loads of money and not give it to themselves. But yeah, 60 cents increase in the minimum wage, and then cigarettes have gone up by 50 cents, which is no surprise. But I'm really, really not happy with this, and I posted on the community post that pensioners are only going to get a €10 pay rise. To be totally honest, I think our pensioners should get a bit more. They should get a tread. They should double it to 20. And I know 20 is not even probably good enough, but I do think 20 is decent for the pensioners. People like my father, the work system were 13 just to say, and up to 55. And some of them are still working to this day and, you know, assume retiring. People who built this country, people had to get up early in the morning and walk to work. Hard times, tough times. No such thing as 40-hour work weeks. It could have been 60, 70 hours a week. No holidays, etc., etc. Like, very tough times, and these people built this country, and the government says, here's €10, fuck off now, we don't care. So obviously then the two is the carbon tax. The price of fuel and petrol is going up. The government are very nice. They're going to give an extra €5 in the fuel allowance. My brain had a fit there. The fuel allowance, they're going to give an extra €5, but at the same time the carbon tax is going up by €71, just to say. So they basically give it to you and then they take it away straight away, and they double it, take it away, doubling it. Also the Christmas bonus will be paid out this year, etc., etc. They're talking about increasing child support from €8 to €55 for children under 12, etc., etc. Which is all just waffle, if you excuse me, like, because that's really all this is all about, what they're going to do and what they could do. Job seekers is going up by €10. I don't agree with job seekers being put up. I don't mind the disability allowance should be given, of course, but I don't think job seekers should be getting €10 extra, to be totally honest, because I don't think it's kind of rewarding people for not being at work. There's no energy credits, which is a sin, because the price of electricity is going up, but the government don't give a shit. And again, they said they were going to abolish the means test for the carers allowance. They never did it. Just to show you, they just never did it. And the other thing that's going to upset a lot of people, a lot of students particularly, they said they were going. Simon Howell said before the election, we're going to abolish fees for third level education, which should happen. It should have been done long ago. Let's be fair, it should have been done donkeys years ago. Like in Finland, in Norway, and other countries that have free third level education for the citizens. In this country, we still fucking haven't got there yet. It doesn't make any sense. But Ukrainians get free, of course, but Irish people don't. They have to pay for it. It's not very fair. But so take for example now, it was 3,000, which is still a lot for an only student that works maybe part time. It's not easy. It's 2,500, so it's a €500 decrease. But I do think the government should probably bring it down to 500 the most, and then get rid of it, abolish it, and completely fees. Because Simon Harris did promise it. Like, you can't sit down and bullshit, because he did say it. And when you make a promise, in my mind, when you make a promise and you gravel at people's feet, because that's what he was doing to students to try and get their folks. He was graveling at their feet, hoping they'd fall Fine Gael. Hopefully none of them did, but yeah, whoever did were very upset. As I said about the carbon tax, the government will really have to fuck you over in every conceivable way. So isn't that great? The other thing I want to talk about too is obviously they're talking shit about childcare. They said they were going to make it as affordable as possible. It's pretty much nothing to help anybody with childcare costs. And pretty much the West is just loads of bollocks and loads of wallop and talking shit. Pretty much, excuse my language, but it's just all waffle, waffle, waffle. That's only the important things for people. Because it's all just waffle. Nothing's ever going to be done to help anybody in this country unless you're a bank or an asylum seeker, etc. But if you're an Irish citizen, the government don't give a shit. It just goes to show you what pensioners. I'm very annoyed. Would you believe I'm not worried about myself? Imagine that I'm not thinking about my back pocket like everybody else. Am I going to get extra money, etc. But I'm thinking the pensioners, the people who worked all their life. I think they deserve a bit more than people on job seekers. I think we should have took the money from the job seekers, the 10 year extra, and give it to the pensioners. That would have made 30 euro. And I know people saying that sounds cruel, but I think job seekers get enough. I think it's good enough. Or for people on disabilities too, I think they should have got a bit more too. And the politicians should obviously get nothing too. But obviously big incentives for landlords, just to say too, big tax credits, etc. for landlords, of course there would be. And then there's just money fucked at direct provision, etc. etc. And then the health budgets increase by fucking hundreds of billions. But it won't make a difference. There'll still be people lying on trolleys. It's just all waffle, because they're saying that like last year they said there was, I think we were giving more to the public health service than any of the European countries, and we still have problems. And money's just been fucked at it, and nothing has changed, because the money just goes into a black hole and disappears. But yeah, so I'm not. But long story short, I think we all knew the government fuck us over, because there was no election. Last year was a giveaway budget. They fucked money everywhere. They threw money at people to vote for them, to bribe them pretty much to vote for them. That's the only how they got in, because people were bribed. People thought, oh, the government are going to be nice and good to us. But, when the government be's good to you, it's something's very wrong. Because you couldn't trust them as far as you control them. First of all, the government's not your friend. Whenever the government says, I'm here to help, that's a very, straight away you're like, no, this is something sus. Because as soon as I hear the government say, I'm here to help you, I'm here to look after you, straight away you should probably run away, because the government doesn't give a shit and never does give a shit with anybody. Well, the only time they care is elections, and then after that they couldn't give a shit, as we see with this budget. Last year they threw money at everybody to get votes, but now this year they don't give a shit. And I think only for the presidential election they wouldn't give anything, because the presidential election's the end of this month. So I presume Fine Gael was trying to get a few brownie points for Head of Humphreys. For a few votes for Head of Humphreys, if that makes any sense. But you'd be mad to vote. You'd be mad to vote for them. Because I'm not, as you can tell, I'm not happy with the pensioners not getting much more. They should be getting more, particularly people who worked all their life. Whatever the people who didn't work. They only worked once in the blue moon. They only worked for a year and then didn't bother to work again. But there's people like my father who worked over 50 years. They probably should get something, in fairness, in their old age and stuff. They should get a bit extra. It's not big. It's not that much of an. It's not going to bankrupt the country, because the politicians will be getting €1,000 extra maybe a week. So if they can give it to the politicians, they can give it to the old pensioners that needs it for fuel and etc. and to enjoy themselves too. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more, and bye.